Yes, thank you everyone. Yeah, thank you for your attention and having me here today, this afternoon. I'm giving a talk on data partnerships, 2024 and beyond. Earlier on, before me, we have seen two interesting talks by both international partners, actually, right? And these projects seems very inspiring. Then the big questions that we ask ourselves is that, okay, as a local chapter and affiliate, how do we as Wikimedians um, work with international organizations? This is not a skill set that by default Wikimedians come with, and so therefore this is the main topic of my presentations today. Next slide, please. Yes, so in about 1.5 to 2 years ago, Wikimedia Deutschland, which is where I'm from, Wikimedia Germany, we piloted a kind of four stakeholder models concept from the data partnership team. So what happens is that we work with the Wikimedia local chapter affiliate together with the institution to come up with a concept, a project concept that will enable the affiliate and the institution to have to achieve the data partnership goals, right? For the free knowledge movement. And our role in Wikimedia Deutschland is the technical advisor and capacity building role. And together, the three stakeholders here will come up with the grant proposal to the Wikimedia Foundation, and thereby elevates the chances of having a more meaningful and concise project. So once the grant has been approved, the grant goes to the affiliate, and Wikimedia Deutschland will continue to support the project as technical advisor and capacity building support to the local community. However, I just want to make it clear that it's self-funded. Our services are not included or cost as part of the fund. So we're just doing this out of the goodwill, from Wikimedia Deutschland. And can you just click on that one, please? So there's some criteria that we do have. First is the project has to be linked open data project, meaning to say it's either Wikidata or Wikibase project, standalone project, or Wikidata with other Wikimedia projects. For example, we can have Wikidata plus Wikipedia, Wikisource, or Wikimedia Commons project. So as long as there's Wikidata or Wikibase involved, we'll be very happy to provide the role of technical advisor as well as some training as well. Next slide, please. So the idea and inspiration that we have when we're going to think ahead is, what if together we can build a easier Wikidata community that is dedicated to link open data partnerships projects in this region? And this is why I'm here today to actually test out or to get a response from the research community as a whole to see, hey, is there an interest in this? If there is, then we can bring this proof of concept back and think about what we can do together for the next 3 to 5 years. And from now until probably end of next year, I'm in the process of writing or creating a book called the Data Partnerships Playbook, which is actually the definitive guide for Wikimedians on interacting with governments, organizations, and cultural and heritage institutions. This may sound like, okay, very big institutions and organizations, and they sound quite far-fetched, but there are certain skills that Wikimedians or just people in general need to have in order to have meaningful conversations, and also in order for institutions to come back to you with a positive response. So there are certain skills that the individual will need and may need when you want to communicate with government officials, for example, right? Because not everyone communicates the same way. Yeah, so to a certain extent, I'm just scheduling this playbook to be published in 2025 and to share with the whole Wikimedia global movement as a whole. Next slide, please. So then the question is, who is Alan Ang, right? Why am I doing this? How am I qualified to do this? And do you think it makes sense for me to be doing this? So as most of you here know me, or some of you do not know me, I'm a Singaporean. I'm working with the Deutschland. I work on Link Open Data project, specifically for Wikidata and also Wikipedia as well. And my core, role is actually data partnerships, and we also do a lot of passive building. So I have my user ID here. Feel free to go to the meta page, my user page, and then you can see more information about some of the work that we do and I do as well. However, this is the Wikimedia side of me, right? It doesn't make me someone who is, having the skill sets to come up with a thing like this and to work together with all the Wikimedians to gather experiences on how to communicate with government officials. Next slide, please. So there's the other side of me before I joined Wikimedia that not many people know, and I wish to share this with everyone so they have a better understanding of where my experiences come from, right? Well, the first is I come with a unique skill set. I have 20 years of experience working with politicians, government officials, and business leaders all over the world. Yeah, as you can see from this picture here, in 2019, I was the advisor to the Prime Minister of the Kyrgyz Republic, also known as Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia. So this photo was taken when we were organizing the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Dialogue. In Chinese, it's known as the Shanghai Fenghui. Yeah. Apart from that, I also work on strategic business development in B2B, which is business to business, and B2G, business to government sectors. So I believe I work in China, Malaysia, Vietnam, as well as several other international countries for the past 24 years of my life so far. Next slide. At the same time, yeah. So at the same time, not only working with government officials and politicians, I also came from the industry. As of now, I'm still an angel investor myself of minimum 100,000 euro in EU startups on digital and sustainable tourism projects. So I have a very fair and good understanding of how commercial entities work. I have a good understanding of how, to look at financial statements, the budget. And these skills are important. It's not just important because when you speak to a big tech company like Google, for example, right? Or some of the other tech partnerships that you want to collaborate and start with, you have to really understand how they work, how they think, how they behave. Otherwise, you will not be able to make the right pitch and communicate in the right manner. I'm also a Blue Ocean strategy practitioner. Blue Ocean strategy is one of the business strategy in the world where selected group of people think in the Blue Ocean way. I put a link there the page for what Blue Ocean strategy is. I was also in chartered marketing as well. So I have MBA, MSc, International Business, and MSc International Business. So that's the background of what I have, so that you have a better understanding. Hey, it requires a certain skill set, not only working with government officials, private institutions, but also in large tech companies as well, and how to establish communication with them successfully and meaningfully as well. Next slide, please. So having this skill set doesn't make me someone who is regional, right? Why this young? That's because I'm a Singaporean, right? And I'm a graduate of the National University of Singapore many years ago. And not only an NUS graduate, but my focus has been on Southeast Asian studies. So my interest for the longest time ever has always been this region. And also, I'm also the graduate and alumni of the University Scholars Program at NUS when we first started. And I've also done internship with the ISIS, Southeast Asian Studies Institute. Anyone heard of it? It's a think tank that do research on Southeast Asian studies. And I believe in mentorship and also being a mentor to people as well. So my previous mentor was Mr. Gary Wei, who is the author of Indonesian Maverick. For those Malaysians here, you may have read the book. I think for Asian scholars, you also read the book for Indonesia. So Gary Wei is an Australian. and he was working in the Asian Wall Street Journal. So as well, another mentor that I want to express grateful gratitude towards is Dr. Robert Paul, who is the CEO of Global Ocean Global Network. He was also the top member of Sampoda Foundation, as well as several other big tech companies in the region as well. So mentorship is very important. I was very privileged and very lucky to have good mentors throughout my life, the early stages of my life. And therefore, I feel that, hey, maybe there's a role I can play here, right? To help and to also contribute to Wikipedians in this region to develop certain skill sets so that we can confidently reach out to and contact and to get positive response from global institutions as well as government organizations as well. Next slide, please. So I'm a very community-focused person. So if you are living in Germany, you're a Singaporean, come reach out to me. I'm the community leader for Singaporeans in Germany. So I'm responsible for interacting with all the Singaporeans living in Germany, as well as the issues that come to me and organize events and we come together, feel good about it. And also, I'm still a mentor for NUS students at the NUS mentorship program until today. I believe in giving back to the community. And this is one of the main reasons why this idea came to me to say, hey, I want to give back to the ESET community because I'm not a Wikipedia, right? So, and there are roles that I can play, the skills that I have, and that we want to see if we can do this together and to learn from each other. And the next slide. So this is my last slide. I humbly submit to you some of what I've done before, in the hope that if you feel that the concerted effort to develop the Wikidata community sounds good to you, please let me know. Please reach out to me, right? If you feel that developing an ESET level Wikimedian who has the right skill set to work on data partnerships activities for ESET Hub as a whole, right? Please let me know as well. So then, after this session, after this conference, I'll be very happy to gather some responses and feedback from everyone here, from the region as well, to say, okay, then I can start making plans to see how we can make this vision into a reality in the coming months or years ago. Next slide. And that's a thank you slide. So thank you for your attention.
All right. Thank you so much, Alan. We still have time for Q&A if you don't mind. So, folks, this is a really interesting opportunity to explore further collaboration and maybe mentorship as well. Yeah, because right now ECF is growing. We've seen a great growth of the community members region. So, should you have interest in leverage this opportunity, please do let Alan know. I see one hand right there.
I just have a question because I'm definitely interested in working with like institutions with regards to data.
Thank you. Also, can you introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm Claude Alejandro. I'm from the Philippines. And my main question was, have you ever had an experience where it was hard to work with an institution or an organization? And have you ever been able to work through that or somehow be able to resolve that issue either through collaboration, discussion, or something similar to that?
Thank you for the question. When you talk about institution, I gather you mean to say like a grant institution, which is publicly funded, or you mean like a private company, which is
anything in general, because
okay.
something that I did note with some non-governmental institutions is that they usually don't have like the resources to help out in building partnerships. So this thing that I did hear from the people who work at the Wikipedia library is that we can get some specific archives or some smaller languages because the organizations that are working with them do not have the resources to build those partnerships.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you very much. Obviously, there are a lot of challenges and issues when communicating with different institutions as well as collaborating with institutions. However, in order for you to reach that level to understand that there's going to be a problem, the challenge of most people from my observation is that, okay, I'm very scared to write this email to this department head of a ministry, for example. Right? Who do I write to in the National Library of XXX so and so, right? Who's the right person for me to communicate? If I write this email out, would I get a response from them, right? So these are the individual soft skills that probably must first address, then to level up. How to properly write a, an official email that will come back with a very positive response so that we can start moving the conversation. And also, even if you have a conversation, then you have to arrange for a first meeting, right? And your government official will say, okay, come to my office with whatever documents you have, whatever presentation slides you have, and come in. I want to hear what you're going to say. So how do you dress? How do you initiate a conversation? How do you lead a conversation? How do you know what the department resource constraints are, challenges that they have, and how do you find already prepared, ideas and work around that? Also, other use cases that you can prepare. Because you have the one meeting. That one meeting probably is 60 minutes maximum, but the government official will walk out after 30 minutes. Yeah. You have the one meeting, the one chance for you to decide whether the project will go on to the next step or it just ends there. This is my experience from helping to government organizations feel that they are more superior than anybody else in a particular country. And of course, not every organization is like that, not every institution is like that. But I can imagine that the challenges in Southeast Asia and East region are going to be there. So these are the skill sets that you require to say, okay, how do you move the conversation to the next step after the first meeting? And then when you get to meet the project manager, then that's when you have a nice discussion about, okay, what are the resource constraints? How can we, as the Wikimedians, work around to help resolve resource constraints? From our perspective, usually resource constraint, I would like to think positively and optimistically, is never a constraint, right? The biggest constraint is whether the data that you have is copyrighted, licensed, or not. So if they have the data that is actually copyright free and is public domain, then that's the biggest hurdle that's on. Everything else is, okay, how do we move forward to the next step and bring this data, information, knowledge to the projects so that everyone will go with it. And to a certain extent, that is the easiest step because we have the whole Wikimedia easier part behind you. You have the Deutschland there to support you. You have the foundation, expertise, our collective intelligence and experiences to come behind and say, this is how we can do it together. Yeah. So this is from my experience. Of course, you may have very unique challenges that we cannot foresee, but for every challenges and roadblock that we see is a learning lesson for us, so that this same roadblock will not happen in the next time in another situation. So I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Wonderful. A big round of applause. We still have 1 minute. Let's open another opportunity for the participants to ask Alan. Anyone? 2 3. Yes.
This question that I'm like, it just pop up into my mind. Like, if anyone is interested in, being part of this Wikidata community, like, if they're not familiar with, let's say, data analytics or something, how much training will they receive, or is it gonna be like a mentorship provided for them, or are they like gonna need to like study on their own for this kind of matter? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes,
So
I know. This is something that we have heard many times. You know, Wikidata, the data work at the end always sounds very wow, it's data, right? So there is I need to know some form of technical skills and knowledge to navigate this project. But you'll be surprised, Wikidata is the most edited Wikimedia projects, more than Wikipedia as of today, right now. And every month there's 35,000 active editors on Wikidata. And many of the editors of Wikidata, they have no technical background and knowledge. It's very accessible to everyone, for everyone to come on board Wikidata. If you want to communicate the project with the institution itself, yes, it requires certain ideas and work around of how to establish that kind of institution-to-institution collaboration. But don't worry, that's where we come in, right? As you can see just now, we want to play the role of advisors, technical advisors, so that we can help you to, see how the projects can be connected together between different institutions. So for general editors and volunteers, do not require any technical knowledge. Unless you want to do Spark query, then of course then you require some training. Other than that, it's very straightforward. There are plenty of introduction to Wikidata, videos, materials, guides online. In fact, recently we launched the massive online course for Wikidata book course in English. You can find that on my user page. There's plenty of information. There's even a how to Wikidata link. You can click, it brings you to the sub-page of mine, which I consolidate and curated some of the interesting, how to Wikidata process steps and learning materials. So do not be shy, do not be afraid of it, just try.